Gaby Laurent.
Hi.
Hi. It's so good to see you. Give me a little skin right here. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
And you're looking very sun-kissed.
Thank you. Thanks for noticing.
Did you just get out of nature off a boat or something?
I just walked off of a boat into this room.
What were you doing on a boat?
Well, I was coming back across the channel from Catalina Island. We just took about 16 campers on the most awesome adventure with We Are Ocean.
And what's the common thread between these campers?
So all of these campers have either had or are living with cancer.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like someone in this room.
Yes.
Got it. All right. That's why we're here. We're going to talk about you, your story, and then we'll talk about the camp, which is amazing. You're definitely well branded. We Are Ocean, Newport Aquatic Center. This is one of the things that's never come up. Well, that's not true. We've had one conversation about it here, but for the most part, NAC is really well known nationally and internationally in the rowing and outrigger world, paddling. This whole thing is something people may not know about, but this really prolific focus on helping other people, and in this case, cancer survivors, cancer battlers, through this incredible camp. So we'll talk a lot about that and your role in it, which is why you're here, because if anybody, you'll pick up very quickly. How do you say hi to people? What does it sound like?
Hey, y'all.
So hold on, you're not from California?
I am not from California.
Gabby, where are you from?
I grew up in North Carolina, but I now live in East Tennessee.
That's not very close.
It's not close at all. It's two plane rides away.
Yeah, I can imagine. And we'll talk about not only what brought you here, the camp, but like how did you get involved in it, why, and what do you guys do, and why it's important to you. So we'll talk about all that today. There's also a book which we'll talk a lot about, which I think is a really cool culmination of all of this, which is a great book, which I just listened to. Again, I couldn't find my copy, so thank you for bringing it, but it's beautiful, Wrinkles Welcome, and we'll talk about the name and the genesis of all of it and why a book. So I'm excited. So there's a lot of parts of it. So by way of introduction, which you've already done, we have met through the Newport Aquatic Center and through the big We Are Ocean annual gala, which you were the keynote speaker last year in 2025, and I was the MC by chance. And
yes.
But what you do, and I just ran into you earlier or at the coffee shop with Elaine, who's part of Newport Aquatic Center as well, happens to work for me. Just this really cool cross section that we have, all kind of facilitated by the ocean.
Yes. And
the water. Now you also picked some incredible weather. It's hot. It must have been, now from a North Carolina, Tennessee girl, you said you were coming back across today on the small boat with some icons. Who drove the boat?
Billy Whitford drove the boat for most of it, but I did drive that boat for about 40 minutes.
How was that?
It was freeing.
Did you guys see any sea life out there today?
Dolphins. I saw a dolphin jump so close in front of the boat, I thought we were going to hit it. But we didn't.
They're just playing.
They're just playing.
It's so fun. We could go, I want to keep going down this because I'm off tangent, but it's so fun, especially people that come from the South or the middle, like didn't grow up in the ocean. Catalina Island's pretty magical.
Yes.
And powerful, like especially what you guys did there. Like without going deep, which we will in a bit, like how do you feel like you just got off the boat after 5 days with other people in nature, on the ocean, doing adventures and probably a lot of camaraderie. How do you feel right now?
I feel just full of magic. It's the most wonderful group of people. And I always say this is a tagline that I use, that we are in the worst club with the best people. Because nobody wants to have had cancer. Nobody wants cancer. But the people that I've met along the way, and especially through We Are Ocean, are the best humans I know. And I am thankful for that.
I love that. It's magic. I'm glad that you're feeling that way. Let me, a little bit more intro, and then we'll get into your story, because we're going to talk about you a bunch today. This is your life, Gabby. But your life is very well documented, the whole path. So we're going to truncate it today. But in your book, Wrinkles Welcome, it's a beautiful story. And I would say it's a harrowing story sprinkled with beauty and really incredible, not just storytelling, but how you've navigated with your husband and your two boys. And we'll talk about all of it, because they all play a pretty pivotal role, and just how the whole thing and I don't want to give it away because I'm going to let you do the storytelling, but really amazing. And I think people have already heard, like, you just have this, I mean, you said it was like this full of magic. Like, that's the way the book reads as well. Like, just a beautiful story of a harrowing experience. And it's so cool to see what you're able to do with it now. Mm-hmm. We'll talk all about it. So let's start back. You said you grew up in North Carolina, and in the book you talk a lot about your family. You got to start there. It's just this lovely storytelling mm-hmm. about your grandparents and your parents and the view of the world. Talk about growing up real quick.
So I grew up in a tiny, tiny town. It was old tobacco farmland, and I just grew up very, very middle class. Just my dad worked really hard. My mom stayed home. Our life was very unique to the South because my mom was from Costa Rica. So our home was already just different from the other families around us, but also our home was very safe, and it was very full of love. And I was always, always told that I was just this beautiful princess and just cared for forever. Like, I never needed anything. I never wanted anything, really, because it just was there already, the love, that a lot of people are looking for. And I really can trace back how, when I went back through everything, I can see that their love really was the through line, that was the thing that gave me the strength to make it through.
Wow. You said that your family wasn't representative of what was around you. What kind of environment? I mean, there's pretty rural. I mean, if it's old tobacco farms, right? Very rural, very small. What was the demographic makeup of the people you grew up with?
I mean, just all white, just very white. A lot of black families, a lot of white families, but there was nothing else in the mix. No Asian families. The only really Hispanic people that were there were migrant workers working in the tobacco fields. And as a kid, I was very embarrassed because I thought people thought that I was Mexican. And like I said in the book, there's nothing wrong with being Mexican. It's wonderful. But I was like, I'm Costa Rican, and people don't understand me. And I really didn't understand myself either because I was so young and just trying to figure things out. And I didn't see myself represented anywhere in television or movies. And I write about it in the book that when J-Lo hit the scene, that really helped me because I was like, oh, you can be a Latina woman and just beautiful and understand yourself in that way. But yeah, I was just kind of like the odd duck.
Got it. Interesting. Did that have any impact, or did it change how you went about life? Like, did it keep you from doing anything, or did it?
No, because my parents just always instilled this confidence in me. And I also, I don't know, I just thought, I'm going to be the best that I can be at whatever I'm doing. I'm going to try hard. I tried to understand lots of people so that I could kind of fit in. So I was always reading the room. I was always thinking, okay, this is how these girls wear their hair. I can do that. I can figure that out. Or these are what the cool kids are wearing. I can shop at those stores and get the discount clothes so I still fit in. I was always trying to figure out how to make myself fit into the world around me, and it took a while for me to figure out who I am is great, and I don't need to try to fit in with anyone else. But, we're all on that journey in middle school,
especially when we're young, for sure, right? What was the family into? Like, you had all this love, but like, what did you guys, when you're growing up in old tobacco farms in rural America, what are you doing?
We were very involved in the church. Like, my dad was always, he worked a full-time job at a steam coal plant, and he also was very involved in church. So, we were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. Full on at church. But that felt really safe. It was always a really safe, beautiful community type thing. And so when I was looking for colleges, that really helped kind of guide. I went to like a small liberal arts Christian university in North Carolina, and that just worked out wonderfully for me because that's where I met my husband.
Gotcha. Well, let's back up. What was the, like, so you go through normal high school and all this, like, did you have a plan, a vision, like where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do?
I really wanted to work for an American embassy.
Oh.
I thought, because my mom was from Costa Rica and I really loved travel, I thought that sounds like a cool job because then you get to travel, immersed in other cultures. And I was very much, I felt safe in my home, but I did not feel at home in my hometown. It felt very claustrophobic, and I always knew in my heart that I would move on. And to another country sounded great, you know?
Were you traveling a lot when you were younger?
So we would go to Costa Rica a ton because all my family is there.
Do you mind me asking, where in Costa Rica are they?
San Jose.
Okay.
Just
Capital,
in
right?
the capital, yeah.
Okay.
So that was, our childhood was a lot of, spending, like December in Costa Rica and that big Christmas break. And in high school, I went right before senior year by myself. And then every year in college, I would go for the summer.
Got it.
I was trying to lose my accent by speaking Spanish all summer, and it didn't work.
How's your Spanish?
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a Southern drawl in your Spanish as well?
I don't think so. I think that it kind of that's why I thought it would disappear altogether, but it didn't work.
I always think of like Latin singers, or any singers, they can sing in like perfectly clear, non-accented English, but then they go back to their native speech and you're like, oh,
I know.
How do they do that?
It's so weird.
Isn't that funny? Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know. So you go to this small college.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know from the book. So is college something that was a focus of your family?
It wasn't really a focus. It was just like, this is what you'll do. I mean, I never questioned going to college. I just knew you go to high school and then you go to college, and that's just the natural progression of life. North Carolina has a great system of like public universities that are relatively, priced. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go to this expensive, tiny school. But I got a lot of scholarships, and where my dad worked as a pastor, I was able to get more scholarships. And my parents were amazing. They paid for my school, and they made this deal with us. I have 2 brothers, and it was, if you only make A's and B's, they would pay back our student loan for that semester. And I was like, I'm not making anything other than an A or a B, because that's a good deal. And I mean, my dad had to sell like timber off of our property to pay for my college.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Our upbringing was a little bit different, but my parents made me a similar deal. They said it's basic, and I use it with my kids. It's 3.0 to go. You keep a BA average, you stay out of trouble, and you graduate in 4 years, and we got you. If you screw up, get in trouble, don't keep grades, you're on your own. And I was like, yep, I'm keeping it for sure. I worked very hard. I felt that threat. I don't know how full that threat was, but they made it very clear. And I've kept the same thing with my kids. It's a job.
It is.
You have to treat it that way. I totally support it. Okay, so you mentioned him. You meet this guy. You tell a story in the book about the first few times you met your husband, Joseph.
Yes.
Can you just give a quick little, it sounds like it was the fact that you guys have ended up together and beautiful family and all this, but it sounds like the first couple times, can you tell just a quick story of what that was like?
Okay, so my husband, Joseph, he is from a tiny town in Tennessee by the name of Seymour. So the first time I ever saw him, he was a junior in college. I was a freshman. We were at this big retreat that was kind of like welcome to school, where you're going to learn a lot about the university. And I was nervous, and I'm walking up, and he has a shirt on, and it says Seymour Eagles. And I just had really never seen that word spelled out anywhere.
Seymour?
Seymour. And I thought, oh, that's such a funny word. So I walk up to this guy. He's 6'4", just gorgeous. His hair's long and blonde and up on top of his head like this. And just, he was so cute. And I remember walking towards him thinking, I wonder if that guy would marry me. I don't know why I thought that. It's crazy. But I walked up to him and I said, Seymour? Like Seymour Butts? That was the first thing I said to my husband. And he said, yeah, I haven't heard that before. And he just kind of walked away. And I was like,
great first impression.
Great first impression.
Now, hold on. 6 foot, I think I met him real quickly. 6'4", blonde, and here you are. Was that your type? Or was that just had you had a lot of experience with, what was did you have a type?
He looked like a model. Mm-hmm. Nobody would, every human thinks he's attractive. It's just who he is. But he's also kind and gentle and sweet and the hardest worker in the world. So it was just meant to be. But what happened was we were able to have 4 years of friendship first. That was a horrible first meeting. At the end of this retreat, we were in the same car together on the way home. Lucky me. I was very excited about that. the driver of the car almost wrecked, and I screamed. We all screamed, and I said something like, yeah, we really can't get in a wreck. I can't mess this up. This is the moneymaker or something. And just another embarrassing thing to say in front of this, hot, older, upperclassman.
That's the nervous energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It worked. It worked in the end, didn't it?
It worked. 4 years later, he had gone to Australia for a year and traveled around with a buddy, and he was coming back home because his dad was sick, and he was like, I'm going to come back to campus. Do you want to hang out? And I was like, yes, I would love to hang out. And we reconnected. We were always friends, but kind of reconnected after having both grown. And I think that's the key thing, is that we were both able to grow up in our own ways and just reconnect as young adults instead of like teenagers,
Yeah. So you graduated. So what was your focus in college?
Psychology.
Why?
I just ended up thinking I really want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
That was my goal.
Got it. And what about Joseph?
So he did business and religious studies.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
What a combo.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Somebody can put those together.
Yeah.
So you guys graduate. He's a couple years ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
So then we both decide, hey, it was a small university where you have that kind of family feel. You can know a lot of the people. And we thought, hey, let's both get our master's degrees. We were able to get jobs on campus that paid for our master's degrees. So it was just such a good fit. He did the MBA track, and I did school counseling. So we thought, he would go into the business world. I thought I would be a school counselor. I thought that would be a really good role for me. Did all these internships and felt really connected to the kids. And I was excited for that. I thought that was going to be my future.
You thought it was going to be your future. Mm-hmm. What happened?
So Joseph,
well, you guys
we got married in 2012 on May the 4th. That was not planned, but now it's very exciting to say, May the 4th be with you.
Oh.
Every year.
I wouldn't have picked up on that. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Is that Star Wars Day?
Star Wars Day.
Okay.
Yeah. So right after he graduated right after he graduated college, he moved back to Knoxville. He worked at Toyota of Knoxville. His boss just really loved him because he was such a hard worker, and then he took this kind of gap year to go to Australia because people do that. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Great experience.
Yes.
While I was still an undergrad, and then we both got our masters. I wasn't finished with my masters yet, and his old boss called him and said, hey, I'm starting a new business. I would love for you to come work for me. And it was kind of one of those things of, okay, this was a great person. This is someone I want to work for. And we made the decision together, like, okay, let's move. And I always say this, he drug me across the Smoky Mountains because I was a North Carolina girl and I was happy to be there. So we moved to East Tennessee. He starts working. I finish up some internships at a distance from Gardner-Webb, and I go to graduate in December of 2014 and did not know it, but as I walked across the stage to get my master's degree, I was pregnant with our first son.
That's a good graduation gift right there.
Yes. So January 9th, because it was a December graduation, January 9th, I took a test, and we were just so excited because here we are. We're, young. We'd been married for 3 years.
How old were you at that point?
26.
26.
Yep.
Got it. This is the kind of the beginning of the rest of your life. It starts right about here, right?
2015, yep.
Why don't you tell us what happened next?
So, find out I'm pregnant, and I wanted to go the very hippie, crunchy, cool way and go to like a midwife and have a water birth and just feel so connected to that whole experience. And that was my plan. And I go to this midwife center, and they can only accept the most low-risk pregnancies, like no twins, nothing crazy. And so they do blood work right away just to see what's going on. So they called me the next day, and they said, there must have been a glitch. Something's just so weird with your blood work. Just come back in. We'll redo it. So I go back in, redo it, and then I get another call, and they said, that was not a glitch. There is something amiss here. We are sending you to a hematologist. And I was like, I don't even know what that word means. And I said, okay. They set up the appointment. I go in, and I look at next to the door, and it says hematologist/oncologist. And I was like, oh, I know what oncologist means. That's a cancer doctor. So I walked into this room just really not knowing what was going to happen. And this doctor said, your blood work is just so odd. We think that you either have leukemia or mono. And I have never wished harder for mono in my life. I was like, well, hopefully it's mono and I'll just be tired for a little bit and get through it. And she said, we really can't tell. We kind of just have to run more tests. We have to let some time go by to see if there's any changes in your blood work. And some time goes by, we see the blood.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but you have no symptoms. This is a total surprise.
So
here's
the thing is that in the first, couple weeks and month of your pregnancy, you're tired. Your gums bleed a little bit because your body is creating more blood to create the baby. I was very fatigued, but who's not fatigued when they're, just starting out pregnancy, especially a first pregnancy? I didn't know what to expect. So I never had any visible, like bruising is a common leukemia symptom. There was nothing. I was at the peak of my health. I've never been healthier in my life. Like I had cut out sugar and gluten. I was running. I mean, super fit, just freshly married, So it was just a shock to think that was a possibility.
How do you feel? Those are always the conversations. Like these are the TV shows my wife watches, and my wife's a PA, but like I bury my head in the sand. I don't want to know. I don't want to think about that stuff, la, la, la. When you sit in a hematologist oncologist office and they go, oh, it's either mono or leukemia, like what happens?
I don't even know how to spell either of those words. They're so foreign to me because I was so young and it was just so scary because the unknown, we didn't know what it was. It took a long time to figure out what actually was happening. And eventually we got to a point where she said, we're going to have to do a bone marrow biopsy because that's going to give us more information than your just like peripheral like blood work that comes out of your arm because all your blood is made inside your bone marrow. And I thought, that sounds horrible. I don't know what that is. I'd never Googled it, but they made me an appointment. I went to it. They said, where I was pregnant.
I mean, that's the whole, I mean, you get this diagnosis and you're pregnant.
Yes.
Early in the pregnancy,
yes.
Right? I just can't imagine the challenges that brings up. I think you're getting to it, if I recall from the book. Mm-hmm. This biopsy made me, you want to talk about?
So they bring me in this room. Joseph's on the other side of a couple of doors. Because I was pregnant, I couldn't receive all these different medications that a person would normally have.
Like
painkillers, or most people are actually asleep.
General
anesthesia for this type of thing. Oh. So they could just give me a little local anesthesia there. And it's barbaric. I mean, it is truly breaking through your bone to get to the marrow, to suck it out, and chipping off parts of your bone so there's even more information for them. And I have never felt something so painful in my life. And to know, Joseph's on the other side of these doors as I'm just absolutely making noises no one should ever hear because there was nothing else. There was one little nurse holding my hand. And
you broke her hand, you know that, right?
I had to have.
I put in my note, you've got to be one of the toughest people. I know a lot of people go through stuff like this, but I am a wimp, and I just think about what that would be like, and just I think I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it. It's just incredible.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. No. I mean, it's one of the most horrible things, but it's the only way to get more information. Yeah. And then there was a big storm in Knoxville at that time, and some of these tests got pushed. They weren't able to be read because people couldn't get into the hospital. All these little things happened that were able to push the pregnancy further along because until we knew exactly what was happening, there was really nothing to do. So we were able to wait. If we would have known what actually was happening earlier, there was no way that we would have been able to move forward with the pregnancy. It would just not an option. So we finally get these tests back, and I get a call from my oncologist, and she says, it's AML. We know it's AML.
AML stands for?
Acute The M word is just a very long word,
Got it.
myelomonocytic leukemia.
Got it.
And acute means bad. It's like you have to, there's a chronic version and an acute version. And if you have the acute version, you have to seek treatment. Most people, when they find out they have it, they get treatment that day.
Wow.
That there is not time to wait because it is so aggressive. It grows so quickly that there's not time to mess around. The problem was where I was pregnant, no one could help me. No one in all of Knoxville could help me. My oncologist said, you either need to go to Vanderbilt or Emory. Vanderbilt is Nashville, Emory is Atlanta. And I thought, okay, these both are universities. And I thought, is there a chance? And I asked her, I said, can I go to Wake Forest University? I know they have a great hospital there with that university.
Why? Why Wake?
Because that is where my parents live.
Oh.
It's right next to where my parents are. And I thought, I don't know how long this is going to take, but I know that if I could be near family, that would be helpful, right? And I love my parents. She made calls and she said, they have a leukemia floor at this hospital and they specialize in AML. This is going to work. So we take our dog to my in-laws and we pack a bag. I get a call from a nurse and she's like, yeah, bring enough stuff for a week. You want to have like cozy clothes and slippers and a book and, just be prepared for a week. And so we packed for a week. It was 7 months.
No way, really?
In and out for 7 months.
Oh my gosh.
But so we pack up and we go, and my parents drive us to the hospital and go into this, we meet my team for the first time, and my sweet little oncologist, she's like, we reached out to the 10 top leukemia specialists in the country to figure out what to do to help you.
Because you were pregnant?
Because I was pregnant. And they gave back 10 different answers.
Oh my gosh.
Which is less than helpful.
Yeah.
And they said there's one person who specializes in helping women who are diagnosed with cancer while they're pregnant. And we reached out to her, Dr. Kardnick, and their thing is basically treat the mom like she's not pregnant. Mm. That you have to save the mom. And they all agreed. They said, we're going to do the treatment that we would give anyone and know that that's going to give you the best chance of survival. And at that point, I had one more day until I would be 17 weeks along. And I begged my oncologist, I said, it was Dr. Powell, I said, can I have one more day? Let me get to 17 weeks of pregnancy. Because I felt in my heart, the further he could make it along without receiving treatment, the better. And he said, I'll let you do that. He gave me, I needed some control.
Mm. I was going to ask you why that was so important to you.
I needed that. And he gave me that little gift of control of feeling like I had one more day. And then the next day, those nurses come in with the hazmat suit, full on. My husband's right there, and they hung the bag, and my son Lewis had 3 rounds of chemo in utero to save my life.
It's really a staggering story, and you go into a lot, you tell the whole story in the book. It's harrowing, but throughout it, you guys kept a really upbeat. Talk about your headspace and how you guys approached it while you were going through this.
I told everyone, because there was a lot of, not haters, but in the medical field, they were very unsure of everything. They had no data on this. I am the only person who has had that specific subtype of leukemia and been pregnant. So there was no roadmap. There was no clinical studies to show this is a safe option, this is not. It was just, let's throw this Hail Mary and hope that I live and the baby lives. And that was my heart was, okay, I've got to make sure that this baby lives. So it became so much, it wasn't about me really. It was, we had this other thing to focus on. And I think that was really helpful to think, I couldn't think about myself really. I was just thinking, I've got this baby right here. Is my body going to protect it? What can I do to make sure that my mind is okay? And we really just leaned into just like comedy, positivity, eating cheeseburgers, watching Gilmore Girls. We just really made it fun. We had little goals, like challenges, and we would try to make the doctors laugh every day. And we felt like if we made the doctors laugh, then we were doing good.
The fact that you can, I mean, I was going to say brilliant, but like what an outlook to say, hey, we're going to make it fun. You said we're going to make it fun. Like I'm pregnant and I have leukemia and I'm going through chemo, but we're going to make it fun and we're going to try to make the doctors laugh. Like that's pretty amazing. You had mentioned 7 months early. Is that the duration from the time you were diagnosed till the time you were?
So I started when Lewis was 17 weeks along is when we started. It was about March. And so what happens with AML is everybody starts, you have the same progression. You have this really, really big chemo. It's like 7 days, 2 different types of chemo. And for that whole month after that, you are in the hospital, like you are not going outside, you are just in lockdown because your body is just so compromised.
You have no immunity, nothing.
Exactly. So like if I was outside of my little room, like I had to have the N95 mask on. Joseph had to have it on. It was so many strange things. Your body goes into something called neutropenia, where you don't have any blood cells to help you fight anything, or platelets. So like I couldn't cut my fingernails, I couldn't shave, I couldn't touch mail, I couldn't have fresh flowers or fresh fruit, anything that had the tiniest chance of bringing something that your body couldn't handle. Just couldn't have it. Wow. For me to shower, it was like a whole crazy countdown because you have to be unplugged. They wrap your, everything up and you get in the shower. You only have like 10 minutes and they're like counting down because you have to have your chemo continuously. But you also have to be clean, It's wild.
You're one tough cookie. In the book, you tell the whole story, and we don't have time to do it all. The high point is, and to kind of jump the shark, how old is Lewis today?
Lewis is 10 years old.
So great. So I think the question people have is like, what happened to Lewis? How was Lewis? What implications did he have because of your treatment?
So the story goes on that we had 3 rounds together. So we had 1 big month in the hospital. I got to go back to my parents' house for a little bit, maybe a week. Back in the hospital for a week of chemo. I would have a few days at my parents' house, and then because I was pregnant, when I was neutropenic, I had to be inpatient in the hospital again. Because most people could be at home for that, but because I was pregnant, there were certain antibiotics that you can't take. So anyway, I was kind of just in and out of the hospital much more than most people. 3 rounds altogether. They induced him. We never knew when he was going to come. He could have come at any point in all of this. Wow. My body could have just said, I'm done with this pregnancy. I cannot handle it. And if he would have needed to come out when I was neutropenic, that would have been absolutely devastating. Yeah. So it was scary, but like I said, we were very positive and we knew and we had a plan. The doctors all got together and they decided for AML, you have to have all of these rounds of chemo as close together as you can so that it works, so that it's a big investment in the future. So we had to plan it. We planned him to be a month early, so they induced me. He came out naturally, thank goodness, because I could not have a C-section. That also would have been devastating to the whole process. 2 weeks after he was born, he was in the NICU for 1 week. We were at my parents' house for a week, and then the next week I was back in the hospital getting the most gnarly chemo that exists. And
was that planned all along?
That was planned all along.
So it was planned they were going to wait for Lewis to be born, and then you would have this without him in you. Is that kind of the way that it was?
Right.
Because so it's that hardcore.
It's that hardcore. So we had 3 rounds together, and then I had 2 without him. And I, because I'm Latina, I thought, I am going to nurse this baby, because that's what my mom did. And all my doctors thought I was absolutely crazy. They were like, you should be thankful to be alive. Why would you even want to do that? And I was like, I think it was another control thing that I just really needed to do. So I was getting this chemo, pumping and dumping every 3 hours, eye drops every 2 hours.
Because, you have to dump that. Like it's not consumable. That's like a...
Oh, my gosh, a hazard. The nurses wouldn't touch it.
Full biohazard.
They were like, you can do this, but you're going to be the one that has to do it.
Wow.
And I did it, and I nursed Lewis until he was 20 months old. And
How's Lewis?
Lewis is great. He is just, if he was here right now, he loves to ask other adults, where were you on 9/11?
Oh.
I mean, he just is like an old soul type person. He loves movies and music. And
But I think the question that people would want to know is, any side effects of everything you went through and all the stuff pumping through him while you were creating him, he has no effects.
Like he has a innocent heart murmur that now we'll go back to the cardiologist in like 7 years.
But shit, lots of kids have that, or a lot of people have it without going through
So,
three
I
rounds
mean,
of chemo.
he's beautiful. He's sweet. He doesn't have, the doctor said he could have heart problems. He could maybe have smaller, and this was guessing. They really didn't know.
Is he a unicorn?
He is a unicorn. I mean, when he meets people and then later we get to have better relationships, I'll say, you need to know how special this human is because he saved my life.
Why do you see it that way?
Because leukemia is so hard to catch early, and the only reason that I would have never gotten blood work at 26, that's just not a normal thing, and back then especially. So the fact that I was pregnant and I went to the doctor and they did the blood work, it started this whole path, and we caught this leukemia so early that they were able to get me in remission after the first round of chemo.
Is that uncommon?
It's for AML is very uncommon. And then I did not have to do a transplant. A lot of people with AML have to do what's called a bone marrow transplant from another person, and I didn't have to do that.
Wow. So, wow, incredible. Yeah, you saved your life, he saved his.
Yeah.
Really amazing. Is he a bit of a specimen? Like, do doctors go, hold on, we want to see what happened? Like, this kid went through 3 rounds of chemo, came out unscathed, or more or less. Like, I can only imagine what your doctors, when they were saying, hey, Gabby, and Joseph, we're going to treat this as if there's no baby in there. There's no Lewis.
I will tell you that once everything was over, our oncologist said, we did not think that it was going to go this way. They had no reason to believe that it would work out. But I did. I knew it was going to work out.
Did you believe that all along?
I did.
You and Joseph really?
Yeah.
How much did your faith play into this?
It was big.
Was it?
It was really big. In our community also, chemo makes you so tired. It just really wipes you out. And I describe it in the book as like jet lag plus studying for the GRE. Your brain is just so full of all of it. I was many times at points where I could no longer pray because I was so tired, but I knew that so many people were praying for us that it was okay. Because I was like, I felt my community was saying, we've got you.
I think we'll come back to community because it seems to be a common thread for you, even what you're doing today.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the question, 7 months. Was that 7 months from diagnosis to
the end of treatment?
End of treatment. When did they kind of dub you in remission? How does that work? Or how did that work for you?
For me, they told me I was in remission on April 7th.
So less than a year.
So right away. So I got my first round of chemo, and they were able to look at all my reports and blood work, and they were like, okay, it actually worked. It got all of the cancer cells out of you.
So they can do that. Okay, I thought it was a much longer process. I see.
Different cancers have different, guidelines, and that was rare. That was a very rare thing that's how that happened. So the cool thing is that is my younger brother's birthday.
No way.
And my younger brother, if the cancer ever comes back, I will have to have a transplant. And he is my perfect genetic match for a transplant. And it's his birthday is my remission date.
You're never going to need it.
No.
How long has that been?
10 years.
Congratulations. That's a huge milestone, right?
Thank you. My friends celebrated with me, and they said, What did you think, when you were going through all that, where did you think you would be in 10 years? And I said, I didn't think anything. I was never thinking one day I'll be 10 years away from cancer. I only could live in the moment. I've only been able to live in the moment.
Lewis.
But
But he's not the only one.
he's not the only one.
And you have a whole nother story around this too.
That's why I had to write the book. It was just.
This book's really great. Okay, so let's talk about son number 2.
Jack.
Tell the story of Jack.
So, because I've only ever been pregnant one time in my life, and that one time I had cancer, I knew I will never be pregnant again. I'm not taking that chance. No one could tell me that they were correlated. They said, wait 5 years, and I said, I'm not waiting. This is over. Shop's closed. But we had always wanted to adopt. That was always in the cards for us. Even when we were dating, we both had said that we felt called to adoption at some point. And when Lewis was about 2, we started the process, and we got matched up with a family, and we felt good about everything. And as time went on, we really discovered that our son Jack had been exposed to numerous medications and drugs. And
This is while he was still in utero.
In
with the
birth mom.
Birth mom.
Yeah. So when he was born, I was there. I was in the room holding her hand, and the diagnosis is NAS. It's called neonatal abstinence syndrome, and that is the kind of umbrella term for babies who are exposed to opioids in utero. So he went to the NICU for 2 weeks.
So basically, he was born addicted to opioids. Is that essentially correct?
Essentially. So he was born not knowing life without it. So as these babies are born, a few hours into, about a day into his life on Earth, his body is saying, wait, where's my drugs? Because he only knew drugs. So he had to go into the NICU for 2 weeks, and he had to detox like an adult would. And after everything we had gone through, we thought, this is so hard. This almost feels unfair that we would encounter another such difficult thing, and not a lot of people know about it. So that was another reason I was happy to write about it in the book, to really bring awareness to this is a huge, huge thing, because a lot of these kids have lots of different problems, and it's so underfunded, under-researched, and preventable.
How has that shown up in Jack?
So he...
if you don't...
No, yeah, and there's lots... He is an amazing human. I always say he is like... There's no one on earth like him.
How old is he now?
He's 7. He's in first grade. He has like ADHD, just like super, super energetic. His body is amazing. He will be some sort of super athlete. You'll see him in the Olympics or something. He is the most physically intelligent person. He never falls down. He never gets hurt. Taught himself to ride a bike. Taught himself to swim. He's just knows where his body is in the world. But he just has to keep moving. Always moving.
I can appreciate that. Without the superhero stuff, I can appreciate the always keep moving. Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations. And again, going out and pursuing, and I think in the book you had said you would take any child from any parents in any condition. Mm-hmm. And you got a challenging one. You told the story about the mother you went through some pretty heavy experiences with her firsthand. Mm-hmm. So you've really done this you have an incredible story with both boys.
Yes. And I really didn't make this connection to his birth mom until I was writing the book, that she and I really did the same thing, that we both had to expose our babies to these substances to survive, because I needed to have this chemotherapy to be able to survive. I had to expose Lewis to it. Jack's birth mom was, an addict. And a lot of the drugs that she was on are drugs that are meant to prevent a person from overdosing. And that was saving her life. And the parallels there, and I talk about it in the book, that when Jack was about a year old, I got a call that she was sick in the hospital. And I went to visit her and hold her hand and pray for her. And she told me that she had cancer. And just the full circle of me having cancer, her having cancer, and then about 2 weeks later getting the call that she had passed. And just knowing that God had a plan for me and that I was meant to mother these 2 boys, and that is my number one job in this world, is to take care of them.
How's that going?
It's so hard. It is so
That wasn't the answer I expected, but it's absolutely right.
Parenting is so hard. People don't talk about it enough, but Jack has had a lot of challenges, and the last 7 years of my life have been trying to help him and trying to help heal his brain, because it was really hurt. And we talk about it with him. We're like, there are things that happen that really hurt your brain and you struggle, and we're trying to help you.
It's really amazing, total sidebar, but it's amazing when you watch people that have been through, call it trauma of whatever, this is a trauma, right? Like, it can happen so early and this doesn't seem innocuous, but it's amazing the lasting potential impacts of childhood trauma. Like, you can see it manifest in so many ways. But I do look forward to seeing this kid as a superhero athlete of some sort. And again, having parents like you and Joseph is probably the superpower that those kids both need.
And Joseph and I are able to do this because of both of our parents. My parents gave me this love. His parents gave him this love. Our love together for each other is the foundation for all of this. And then because of that and our faith in God, we are able to then love our children and take care of them and make them have this safe home and childhood so that they can weather what's coming for them.
It's so good. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what, parenting is not easy.
It's not.
Right? And I say it all the time. I say, being a woman, I am so not tough enough on so many levels. Then you add in challenges with children, you throw leukemia in there, like, you're way, way, way tougher than I would ever be. Let me ask you this. So, again, it's such a great story. And you do a beautiful job in the book of really adding all the color and the flavor to all of this, much more elaborate. So here we are 10 years post. 2 boys, happy marriage, parents are fully engaged. What's life look like today for you?
So now both of my kids are in school. So that's a big change. You get out of those in the weeds years, and now we're in school. And so when my youngest son was in kind of full-time pre-K, I decided it was time for me to write this story. And I had never planned to write a book. I was not one of those people that thought, I've got a bucket list and writing a book is one of them. I blogged when I was in the hospital when I was sick, and that was very cathartic for me, but it was also very helpful for other people. And I wanted the truth to be known, because when people hear cancer, especially cancer plus pregnancy, I assumed that everyone was assuming, oh, she's probably not going to make it. And I did not want anyone to think that. So I said, I'm going to control the narrative, and I am going to write about it as much as I can so everyone knows the truth. And luckily, I had all of that, in the moment writing to really help me as I wrote my memoir. So it's very accurate to how I felt in the moment. And then I, got into, it's kind of like a hybrid indie publishing situation, and got it out in the world last September. And I never thought something like that could happen, but it happened. And now look at this beautiful book.
Right. Why the name Wrinkles Welcome? What does that mean to you?
So I talk a lot in the book about what I learned from the experience. That's kind of what memoir is. What did you learn through all of this? And the thing that I talked a lot about was like my grandma's hands, and like the sunspots and wrinkles on her hands when she's holding my hand, and it feels so safe, And I thought, that's the goal. The goal is to look like you've lived your life. Because when I look in the mirror and I see my face, I love my face. I love what I see. And I hope that one day I look in the mirror and I see this face full of wrinkles. Because if I have a face full of wrinkles, it means I'm alive. And isn't that the whole point? So one day, I'm just going to be so happy to see that. And until then, this is my little tagline, Wrinkles Welcome. Like, let's go.
It's awesome. I don't know where you are, if you know where you are right now. I don't know if there's any wrinkles within 2 miles of here. That's mean. That's inappropriate. But there's not a lot of people around here that want to have wrinkles. And there's a lot of doctors that can make that happen.
It saves a lot of money, though, you know?
Well, listen, but the message is beautiful, and you talk a lot about that. And I think it's on point, especially with I mean, everything about your story talks about it. And I think it's super neat. Let me ask you, so you write a book about your experience. Here we are 10 years later. How do you deal with, or what's life look like now? Like, how does cancer, your experience, play into your life these days? Like, you're still in that, you've chosen to stay in that world, even though you're out of it. Mm-hmm. But that's a layman talking. Do you ever feel like you're out of it, or are you always part of it because of your experience?
It's a great topic, because the cancer community is, they have lots of different feelings on this whole concept. And for me, I feel, so thankful to be alive and so happy and full of hope. And what I really have thought about lately is, a lot of people think the goal is like healing or to be healed from something. And it parallels with the book well that I don't know if that's always the goal for everyone, because being healed is not always attainable for everyone, whether it's cancer or trauma or whatever you have. We carry these things with us. And I think that if we can get to the point where I'm here today, I'm with you right now, like this is my life right now, this is all that really exists in this moment, and I can be present with you and thankful for you in this experience. And I think that's where I've shifted, not thinking of like, I can't wait until my kids graduate. I can't wait until this and that and the other, and my husband retires. Like, just knowing that, like, we have this moment right now, and I feel really good right now. I did carry it. I still carry it. There's these, like, thoughts in the back of my head of, it can come back. Like, there's no guarantees, but there's no guarantees for anyone. Blink of an eye, something can happen. So just really learning to live in the moment and thankful for this moment is really how I make it through each day.
Got it. And you've got these two young guns. What are you or on your own with Joseph? What are you guys doing for you? What are you doing for fun? I mean, here you are, you just got off the boat. We're going to talk about it in a moment, but like, what are you guys doing when the kids are at school now that you've had 10 years of full on between the treatment and the boys, but you're like starting to find a little freedom here and there, right?
Freedom. Yeah. We're, scratching at the surface of, what can our life be like? Probably a year and a half ago, my husband is a super hard worker. He's the CFO of a couple of car dealerships, and just super hard, doesn't know how to not work hard. And I said, we got to stop. Something's got to change. And we figured out, and he talked to his boss who paid him for the 7 months that he did not work.
Wow, awesome.
While he was with me. He said, do what you need to do. So he works 4 10s. So we have Fridays off where our kids are at school, and we just do whatever we want. We're like little retired people.
So what do you do?
So we play pickleball, we go to Costco.
You just hang out?
We just hang out.
So
like we're about to remodel our kitchen. So we've been doing a lot of, picking out tile and colors and just eating a nice meal together where no one needs to go to the bathroom or anything. And it's sweet. It's like living our unpromised future now. So
smart. Yeah. Really smart. Good for you guys for doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the boys in school, and you guys are taking Fridays, and yet here you are in California. So, and you talked about community. I'm going to tie it all together here. Being really present. I mean, you were just present for a number of days out here. Let's talk about the role of community and then how that turned into this camp thing that you do. So talk about the role of, you mentioned community earlier and they were praying for you, but then there's the cancer community you mentioned. Like, talk about community for you.
So for me, community is really such a core foundation of my life. Like, my group of friends, and I live in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. My girlfriends are my everything. Like, we chat all day. I fully believe that the way that the world is not how it was supposed to be. I think we were supposed to live in these little tribes almost and just be really involved in each other's everyday life. And we all live in these separate homes, and you have to drive in the car to go see someone. You have to really plan it. So we just chat all day in our little group chat, and we're very intentional to spend time together, sometimes multiple times a week if we can. And we have a church community, and my friends are, go to my church and just try to really be there for each other. If someone's had a baby, you take a meal. If someone's sick, you take a meal. Figuring out how to do life together in a way that is helpful and fun. Our world is so scary and crazy. And it's like, how can we have community and fun in our daily lives is just a huge part of my life. So last year I made a different social media account that was public so I could talk about the book. And through that is where I found out about this camp. And I saw someone post about this, adventure camp for cancer survivors. And I thought, that looks pretty cool. So I applied, and then I was accepted. And I was shocked because I thought, how you almost felt like I was signing up for some big thing I could win that you never win, right. like a raffle.
But you weren't looking. This is just something you stumbled into on social media somehow.
Totally stumbled into it.
On your couch in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Yes.
There's this camp in Southern California.
I was like, that looks pretty cool. I think it was because my kids were old enough that I felt comfortable enough to pursue something like that. I had never done a cancer support group. I had never done anything. There was no one around me. That didn't exist. It's very, rural area. So when I saw that, I thought, I'm going to apply for that. And then I was accepted. And then I was like, I don't really even know what this is. But I did it. I was like, Joseph, we all agreed and figured out how it was going to work. And I flew out to, Orange County for this camp. Last summer was my entrance into We Are Ocean.
So let's talk about what was the allure when you first saw it, and obviously you pursued it, but just talk about the experience of, I'm trying to get, let me turn it back to this. What was your hope, and then what was your experience?
My hope was that I could process what I had gone through, because I never had a chance to slow down. I'm literally, I have a 1-month-old baby, and I'm getting chemo. I'm not able to process even motherhood or cancer because it's all jumbled up together. And the first year after finishing leukemia treatment, people are if you were working, you would have disability. It is really a hardship on your body to go through that. And I was nursing a baby in the middle of the night, up all night. My body just couldn't really, and mind couldn't slow down to process. And then the adoption, and then jumping into taking care of Jack and figuring out his needs. I was just, all of a sudden had 2 kids, So it was go, go, go. And I thought that camp would be a chance for me to focus on myself, because as a mom, it's hard to really be, I don't want to say selfish, but really that self-care is hard to find.
Do you remember, thank you for sharing that, do you remember what the camp touted itself, what piqued your interest in it?
I think I knew it said ocean and adventure. And those 2 words, I was like, I love the ocean, but I've always lived far from it. And anytime I get to be in it, it feels so good. And I worked at the adventure course at college, helping people go climbing and stuff. And I love being outside, and I thought this seems like a really good fit for me personally because of those things.
Got it. Okay, so you fly out.
Fly out.
Walk us through, and with that, we can't go into all of it, which I'd love to, but talk about who are the people that you met there, and what was what was it about the camp that, because obviously you've come back. So what was the impact, and what was it? What did you get from it?
So I met all these amazing people who have had lots of different experiences with cancer, and they were all in different, like, some people are in remission, some people are metastatic, some people are, no one was as far out as I was. Most people were closer, to when they had cancer. But it was just unreal sitting around a campfire and hearing someone say something that you felt that you've never been able to really even fully comprehend or verbalize out loud. So to be able to hear someone say something and for me to say, me too. And you don't even have to explain it because they know that you get it and you get what they're saying. And within my normal friendship community, I didn't have that because there's no way they could understand what I had gone through.
Yeah. And what were some of the experiences you had? Now, let's back up. We Are Ocean, through the Newport Aquatic Center, happens on Catalina Island, 30 miles. I've talked about it a lot in here because often we're talking about paddling it, which comes into play as well.
Yes.
But if the weather's right, it is stunningly beautiful, and you guys are staying in a stunningly beautiful spot. So what is maybe the better question to help people understand what you went through is, what was the goal? Like from We Are Ocean's goal, from the mission, what is the intent? And then how does that work for people like you or the other campers that were there?
So the whole goal is to provide a safe space for adventure and community. And it really takes a lot of things to happen for that to be safe and attainable for everyone. A lot of planning. Now that I'm on this side, it's a lot of planning. But at camp, it was a lot of, we learned to use the outrigger canoe. I had never done that in my life. And we use the 6-man boat, and there's always a pro. We have all these pros with us. There's always a pro that's steering in the back, and they teach us how to row. And it's very low key.
How to paddle, sorry.
How to paddle. See, that's how green I am. How to paddle. Good. And it's so cool because we get in there. We don't know. Still don't know how to say it. We don't know what we're doing. They teach us, and then all of a sudden, we're 5 cancer thrivers and a paddler, and we're just going. Like, they teach us how to slowly get faster, and all of a sudden we're just like huffing it through the water, and you just feel strong because it's a team. It's because you're all together and you're in sync with each other in the ocean, and it's just, there's something so healing for that moment to see. By myself, I could not move this. But because we're all together and we're working together, communicating, we're able to keep going. And it's just such a cool parallel for as you're building these friendships and relationships that are going to go on after camp. These are our new things that are going to carry us through this hard life.
Did you build some relationships through this?
Oh, yes. So last summer, one of the camp staff, her name's Ashley, she actually had the exact same type of leukemia that I had, which is so rare, and we just clicked from the get-go and talk on the phone all the time and are super good friends.
Well, when I came and met you at coffee, you had Elaine there.
Elaine,
you're going to stay at JoJo's. These are women. So to talk about the caliber of people that are working with the camp, you've got world-class, highly accomplished athletes that happen to be some of the nicest people in the world.
Yes.
I mean, these women that are part of We Are Ocean have won the Molokai and the Catalina race numerous times over, and you would never know because they're just the most wonderful, nice. But those are the kind of people that you have there. I hear the food's pretty amazing.
Yes, Dave plans all the food, and he's the best. Dave Kruger.
Pasta Dave, culture hot sauce. Yeah.
So he makes sure the food is just really dialed in, super healthy, because a lot of us are just really trying to take care of our bodies, because it's been through some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that community, the combination of what they bring to the table is just so key, because they're bringing their experience and their knowledge, and they're also fun. Like, they are ready to have a good time. And all we do is laugh. We just laugh for a week. We cry, but we also laugh.
So you just left. The camp just concluded this morning. Is that right?
Yes.
Everybody's going their way. Airplanes, cars, trains, planes, and automobiles happening right now. What do you think each of those campers is digesting or reflecting on? Like, maybe after your first one, like, what do you think's going through the minds of all these people that you now know very well as they head back to real life from this camp?
We have some like fireside chats, and last night we did this activity where I asked everybody to find 2 rocks in our time there. So everybody found 1 rock that they were going to keep and 1 rock that they were going to leave behind. And that kind of represents what you want to take away from camp and what you want to leave behind on the island. And we all walked up to the water and threw them out into the ocean all together, and shared with each other, what we were leaving behind. And so many people, I wish I could just like write down everything they said, because it's so beautiful, because all of our little hearts and minds have just experienced so much hardship that most people can't understand. But everyone is just so focused on, how can I be present in my life? How can I calm my mind? How can I know that in this moment I'm okay, I'm safe, after feeling so unsafe for a long time? And that's what's beautiful about camp, is it gives people that experience to process it, talk about it, know that there's someone else that actually gets it. And with technology these days, it's so easy to just call someone or text, and it's easy to keep in contact after camp.
And from your first experience, has that been the case?
Oh, totally. We have WhatsApp chat
You guys
groups.
It's going.
Constant, yeah.
That's so good. It's so good. Is it safe to say that it's way more than a camp?
It's way more than a camp.
Because it's giving you, it's not just a snapshot in time, but it's the catalyst for whether growth, relationships, community thereafter, right? Is that kind of the end goal? It's not just what you get in the number of days you're there, but it's what you take home with you.
Yes.
It's that rock you take home.
It's that rock you take home. It's knowing that not only do you have new friends, but you can look back on your week and see, we did some hard things together. Like, there's a lot of people who come to these camps. Some of them maybe can't even swim. And we've got them out there on the SUP paddle board with their life jacket on, and they got their snorkel gear. Natalie, who also is with us, she's going, and everybody's getting to like snorkel in a safe way, doing something they've never done in their life. It's so special. We did archery. We went out on a sailboat cruise. Like, that's not something I ever get to do, in Tennessee, and it's just so chill, so fun, the best staff. I came back as staff this year, and we had a blast.
That's so great. Talk about what your role was as staff.
So I was the camp leader this year, which is crazy that I was just a camper last year, and really, told Billy and Kel, I was like, what can I do to help? And so was helping organize on the front end of camp, and, making little Excel spreadsheets, and, figuring out shirt sizes and food allergies, all that kind of stuff. And I made a big, what's the word? Like, everybody needs to know what's going to happen. So I made a whole plan of like what the week was going to be, and like printed it out.
The whole agenda.
The agenda, yeah. And just made folders for everybody, and Malia had made name tags, and everybody felt super like welcome to get a little welcome package. And we had all these swag bags full of cool like WAO NAC gear, and it's just cool.
It's so great. It sounds like your master's in school counseling came to play, right?
I know. I'm like a camp counselor.
Right.
What's
and
better?
your psychology degree, right? Like, you really
Yes.
are kind of set up to do this, right?
I know.
And your experience.
It's so crazy.
Who would have thought it would happen in California?
I know. It's just, when I look back on the last, year and a half, I can hardly believe it.
You said Joseph dragged you across the Smoky Mountains, and then We Are Ocean dragged you across the Rocky Mountains,
Yes.
right?
All the way
Here you
across
are.
the country.
It's such a cool story. And you look at how terribly difficult what you went through and all these other people. It's so amazing and cool where you've ended up and how you found yourself writing a book, found yourself finding this camp online, and here you are as a camp, organizer. It's super cool, Gabby. Like, I'm so proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you.
What a way to navigate with 2 boys waiting for you at home. And
But my husband's super thankful because he knows that I have a lot to offer, and not that mothering isn't the best thing ever. Like, it's very important. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but also it's really cool that I get to use my experience and skill sets to help other people, and it's fun for me too. I mean, anytime you're helping someone else, it's good for your soul, to give back. And I got so much out of my first camp as a camper, to be able to come back as a staff person and be like, I'm going to help make this the most fun week of your life. And it happened. I mean, like, look at all these cool bracelets the campers made me. Like,
wow.
It's just such a fun experience.
Was your experience different as a camper from being part of the camp, director of camp this year? Like, how did that experience differ, if at all?
It was definitely different because I didn't, as a camper, I really didn't have any responsibilities. I just kind of went with it. But I will be honest, I mean, I wasn't stressed. I was more stressed as a camper than as a staffer.
Probably because it was the unknown last year, right?
Exactly.
Now you're like, I got this. I know how to paddle now.
But now here's the thing. It's the staff. This is like the most well-oiled machine. I mean, all these pros, they know how to work with groups of people because this is what they've been doing, training together. These people are still going to practice. Most people where I live, you're done with your sports after high school.
Yeah.
And these people are paddling every week as a team. That's huge.
It's a really interesting distinction. I had never thought of that. But yeah, because I'm down at NAC, 5 days a week, and age is not a factor in this, as you know from the people that were there. People that beat me when I was 20 are still beating me when I'm 55. It doesn't stop. People keep just hammering and hammering.
And that's so encouraging to us as the cancer community, is to say, look at these people moving their bodies, taking care of themselves, giving back. They're coming to camp to volunteer their time and energy and their personal resources, their love, their laughter. It makes us think, what can we do like that for other people?
It's so great. Well, I quote, Tony Robbins always said, like, if you focus on others, you can't suffer. You can suffer, but it's a whole different, if you're focused on others, life gets a lot easier. If all you're doing is focusing on yourself, like, you can only stare in that mirror so long. Nothing,
right.
That is not life, right? It's focusing outward.
And I thought about that on the boat over today. I thought, did I even look in the mirror this week? Was there just food in my teeth? Because we're so busy, getting everything organized.
There's none in there now.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, it is totally, and honestly, when you're at camp, it just feels like time has stopped everywhere else, and we're in this little bubble of just love and fun and joy and peace. This is such a peaceful place. It just feels like its own little world. Everybody kept saying, okay, it's only Tuesday, but it feels like I've been here 5 days. Like, every day was like multiple days contained.
Let me turn this into a bit of a public service announcement. If somebody is listening to this going, well, that sounds so amazing, I wish I could do that, but I can't, or it's not available to me, or like, how does somebody get the benefit of what you just shared about what people are getting at We Are Ocean? What would you recommend to other people in that same space? They're a cancer battler, survivor, whatever role, wherever they are in the process. What should they look for? What can they do for themselves, similar to what experience, so they can feel the same way you and the campers all feel after spending time at We Are Ocean?
There are a lot of resources out there, and We Are Ocean just happens to be the first resource I ever stumbled upon. But there's a great resource called the Dear Jack Foundation, and they specialize in, they do some smaller trips, but also like it's almost like a Make-A-Wish type thing for like young adults who have had cancer, where you can apply and they can help send you on an awesome trip as a family to help you have a really cool experience. This camp was actually in sort of conjunction with a group called We Got This, and the founder, Alyssa, even came to camp.
Wow.
And their thing is they have a platform that is it's a huge resource for the cancer community. The main thing it is when you get married and you're making a registry, you're like, I need these things for my house. Well, when you have cancer and you're in the hospital, people say, what can I do for you? Like, is there anything I can get you? Well, they have you can make your own cancer registry. So you can say, I need wipes, I need nausea gum, I need a blanket, I need these specific things that I actually want. Because people will give you things when you're in the hospital, but it might not be things that you actually want or need. So it's a way for people to communicate with others, this is what I need. But it's also just a great starting point for lots of resources. So they have a whole resource page that has especially for the young adult cancer community, there's a lot of resources out there. And I would recommend going to that website, wegotthis.org, is just chock full.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. What's the similar question? How important is, we talked about community, but how important is nature, getting outside? Like, how much of what the camp is about is just being in nature, being together, but being, whether it be out in nature, in the water, on the water? How important is that for people that are going through tough things like this?
It's huge. It's so huge, because when you're in treatment, you're in a very sterile environment, very white, very cold. The lights feel uncomfortable, So as soon as it's safe for you to be outside, just go outside. It's good for your body, the sun. Some people call forest bathing, just walking through the forest if you can. The ocean, the healing, a long time ago they would send someone to the ocean because they were sick, because that was the thing that doctors knew, breathing in that ocean air is going to help you. And the fact that we get to have camp on Catalina Island at Emerald Bay, which is a Boy Scout camp of all things, it's just the perfect combination. It's the perfect place to go. So if you can get to the ocean, that's the best. Any water will do, though. A little creek in your backyard, a pond, a lake, just get out there.
Such good advice. Let me ask you this, Gabby. What would your life be like today, do you think, if you never had leukemia?
Boring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I can't imagine any other life. I can't. That's a great question. I have no idea. Wow. I wouldn't wish this again, but I also can see all the good that's come from it. And having had cancer as a young adult, it really forces you to really think about your life and what you're doing and how to be intentional with your time and energy. And this week, me and my friend joked a lot about how we don't have time for that. We just don't have time for anything that is not beneficial to us. There's no drama. I don't, if I have the most wonderful friends in the world, and I'm so thankful for that, because it's low drama and I just can feel safe and at peace, in my relationships.
That's awesome. So you go home, sun-kissed from the ocean and the sun here in California. What's next for you? You've got 2 boys waiting for you, but
yeah.
What, does this spur on any additional, I want to go do this? I've got, has it changed anything for you, having these new experiences? Do you want more new experiences, or what's next?
I really thought that I would write another book, and maybe there's another book in me. I have a whole layout of another book that's based on this camp in my head and written down, but I don't know if I'll do that. I'm pumped. I just want to talk to Billy and Kel about more things we can do for WAYO, and specifically this group of campers are actually all from California.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So they all, the We Got This community, they brought in some funds that they had raised after the fires. So the whole idea was that this camp would be people who were here during the LA fires.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like a Southern California-based thing, which has ended up being the coolest thing, because guess what? These people can see each other tomorrow if they want to.
That's so great.
It's just none of them, some of them knew each other a little bit, but you know, now they have this new group of friends that they actually can see in real life. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of fun adventure days and they can all come down to the, Newport Aquatic Center.
That's so great. And you had mentioned a couple names. You mentioned Billy, that's Billy Whitford, Executive Director. You mentioned Kelly Schwartz, helps run NAC. They've both been in here. You mentioned Malia Hull, her dad has been in here. So I'm very fortunate to know the people very well, and they're all incredible and do great work. Let me ask you this, and we'll just about end it here. If people want to find you online, find your book, find out more about We Are Ocean, how do they find all of this?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram. It's Gaby Laurent Writes is my Instagram handle. This is my book. If you would like to purchase it, you can go to my website. It's GabyLaurentWrites.com, and there's a link there for where you can hear some other podcasts I've been on and purchase my book, and that is the place where I get the most back from someone purchasing the book. So
you also have that in an audiobook.
It's an audiobook.
Which I just listened to it. It's fantastic. And it's your voice.
It's my voice.
Which is great.
And it's an ebook too. So you can also find it as an ebook. It was really important to me for it to be accessible to everyone who wanted access to it, and it's even in some libraries.
Wow. As it should be. It's so well done. And it's so poignant. And We Are Ocean, if somebody wanted to find out about that.
So you can just Google like Newport Aquatic Center, We Are Ocean. There's an Instagram handle. I think it's NAC, We Are Ocean. But you would find it. If you went to my page, you would very quickly find it.
Awesome. Gabby, I love the story. It's, as I said, it is powerful. It is daunting, but it's beautiful. And if anybody has picked it up, like, you're just such a positive force. Super lovely. I love your outlook on it all. And so congratulations, and thank you for the role you're doing in serving others through this community. Keep telling the stories, and super rad. Well done driving the boat, not driving over the dolphin earlier today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.